Alexander Vienna, nice to meet all of you. And I'm here joined by my colleague, Brian. Brian, would you like to say hello to everyone?
Hello, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here.
Really nice to be here. So as Flora was saying, we're going to be talking about our work in assessments and language education at the university and discussing a bit what we do and how you can get involved with us. So I'm not sure if you have been to Norwich or if you've visited East Anglia. I thought we should just start this presentation by giving you a kind of virtual tour of the surroundings over here. So we'll start with Norwich, which is where we are based, where the university is based. And so it is a really lovely city near London. It's a 9-minute trip from London. We do have an international airport in the city, making it very easy for you to fly, for instance, to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam to all over the world. And Norwich is really known for its beautiful countryside. Lots of people, famous people would spend their summers and their time off here, including the royal family. So just show you some pictures about what Norwich looks like, so that you have a kind of flavor of the city. It has been identified as one of the best places to live in the UK in the Times and the Sunday Times. And the countryside is just, stunning. We've got one of the most beautiful national parks in here. And the city is really where is a place where the old, the historical, and the modern coexist. As you can see in this picture, right in the center, in the city center. So on the right-hand side, you see a really modern building, which we call the Forum, where you've got the library, the BBC, and on the right-hand side, you've got a historical church. There are loads of ancient buildings, some from Roman time and the Vikings, and you can spend really numerous days exploring the city and all these little tiny alleys and streets that we've got with these historical buildings. One of the main features of the city is this outdoor market, the biggest one in the UK, which runs all over the year, really, and you can buy whatever you can think of. And the city is really well known for coffee shops. If you like coffee, hot chocolates, you can explore one per day during your time here. There are lots of entertainment options, theater, arts, and shopping centers where you can go to, but also stores on the streets, as you can see here. The city brings together all the facilities of a modern city, but at the same time, it is a really safe city. Although it is a medium-sized city, it feels like you are in a small city in terms of safety. So in terms of our campus, we are really lucky to be in this lovely green area you can see on the street. So the buildings you see right in the center is where the university is. Here you can see better about all the buildings we've got on campus. Right at the left-hand side, you can see the sensory centers for visual arts, which is our art gallery. Then you can see the accommodation in several university buildings spread out in this green area, which you can just walk around and do your exercise or relax and unwind during your studies. The Broad is one of the main attractions. All over the year, people can walk around and just relax. So this is the main students' accommodation overlooking the Broad, what we call the ziggurats. And here is how they look like in the evening. This is the sensory center I was talking to you earlier on, the gallery of art that we've got on campus, a huge gallery of art with lots of things on display, and you can spend hours here checking the exhibitions that actually get changes every now and then. So I'll just take you through some of the buildings and the modern facilities we've got for students on campus. And this is where I'm going to stop in terms of my tour. So you might be asking, okay, what is UEA all about? If you do not know about UEA, well, the university is in the top 25 for the Times and the Sunday Times. It is named among the world's top 50 for research citations in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2020. It is among the 300 top universities around the world in the Times Higher Education. It has been awarded a gold status in the UK-wide Teaching Excellence Framework. This is the national evaluation for teaching in the UK, and as you can imagine, gold status is the best status one can have. It's just been a testimony of all the work that we do collectively in terms of teaching and supporting our students. And the university has also been awarded the Queen's Anniversary Prizes recently. So we were awarded that in 2017, and it's valid until 2021, until next year. Both Brian and I are based in the School of Education and Lifelong Learning. And this school also has its own accolades, to be honest with you. So it is one of the UK's premier centers for teaching and research in education. And again, I don't think you need to take my word for it. You might think, well, my word's a bit biased. So I'll give you some evidence for that. So we're fourth in the UK for education in the Guardian League in 2020. 77% of our outputs, of our research outputs, have been rated as world leading or internationally excellent. In the last research exercise we had in the UK, there is a new one coming up next year. We are very fortunate to have the UNESCO chair in the school on adult literacy and learning for social transformation, which is a recognition of all the work we've been doing in this field of transforming societies in different parts of the world through increasing rates of adult literacy. But I think what I would like to focus on today is to talk a bit about our research, specifically the research that we conduct in language assessment, because we believe that this might be of interest to you in this conference. So just highlight, I mean, we have a vibrant group of people working in language in education. So we've got a research group called Language in Education, which I am the leader for that. And we've got lots of colleagues. I won't be able to do justice to talk all the work that we do. I do have the website for our group at the bottom of the screen. So if you want to check that, you are very welcome to do that. What we'll be doing today is to highlight some of the work that we've done in language assessment. And I will now hand over to Brian to talk about his groundbreaking projects over the years in assessment more generally, but more specifically in language assessment. So Brian, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, Vander. If you could go, that's wonderful. So thanks very much, Vander. As Vander has said, I'm part of the research group in the School of Education on language and education. and I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the research that I'm involved in. My research really focuses on the role of new technologies and their transformatory and disruptive potential and implications for assessment, and specifically for language assessment, which includes works that, on artificial intelligence and data mining. Clearly, there's been a revolution in language assessment over the last few years, as almost all language assessment is moving towards computer-based testing, and increasingly the role of automated systems of using artificial intelligence, for example, for not only grading assessments, but also the construction of test items. So it's an extremely exciting time to be involved in research on language and education. On the right-hand side there, you can see an image which is actually from my recent work in Senegal, where I did work with the OECD's large-scale assessments to look at how people are interacting with technology. And in this image, you can see a young boy, actually in Senegal, taking part in a tablet-based assessment. And the man next to him is supporting him with the use of that tablet. So this is the kinds of interaction that I'm interested to look at. So we have a number of research projects which are ongoing at the moment. One project is around the future of the AI examination. And that's in collaboration with UCL and Pearson on their large-scale language assessments. I'm also heavily involved in research looking at small-scale interaction and response processes in assessment, such as that interaction you can see in the image. And we use techniques such as eye tracking and the analysis of gesture and facial expressions from video, as well as the analysis of verbal interaction, to better understand what's going on in the testing situation, to create inferences about test performance, user performance, and issues around validity and fairness. So it's actually a very exciting area at the moment, a growth area in research on language assessment. The third item there I've got is actually relates to a piece of research which I've just finished and is just about to be published, where we've looked at what validity means in large-scale international assessments of language and education. So in particular, how different stakeholders create and agree on ideas around the validity and performance of assessments and the validity of the uses and consequences of language assessments. And that's a theoretical piece. So we're interested in both the empirical research on language assessment, but also in the theory as well. So that just gives you some kind of flavor of the kind of work that I'm involved in as part of the research group on language and education. Of course, there's much more going on in the group, a lot of different interests. And I would certainly welcome you if you have potential PhD topics that you might want to explore, or indeed if you would be interested in some form of research collaboration. So I'll pass you back to Vander. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, just to complement what Brian was saying, so just to highlight one of the projects I've been involved in for the British Council, actually commissioned by the British Council, where we looked at master's courses across the UK, and we investigated what master's students expected to have at the beginning of their courses and what their experiences were towards the end of the master's course. And one of the items in that quite extensive study that we've conducted was looking at assessment and how these students, these future language teachers, were assessed. And that's what you can see on your screen just now. So they said they were primarily assessed by essays, dissertations, presentations, and exams and tests. This is not the entire list. I mean, it just selected the top scoring assessments for this presentation. And we also looked at what they desired. And this is what you see on the new slide. Now you can see that there are some similarities. Yes, students are very happy to be assessed through essays, dissertations, and presentations. They don't want to have exams or tests as part of their masters, and they're asking for different forms of assessment, specifically teaching practice and teaching peers, class participation, and written reflection on teaching. So I don't really have time to explain the entire project, but I would just like to highlight that we can understand why they're saying that, because that has been a theme recurring in the project, that master's students are asking for a higher or more links, better saying, between their experience at the university and their teaching practice, the practice that they will engage in after the masters. So speaking of the masters, we offer a number of different courses within our school. On this slide, you see all the 5 courses which are available to students. So we've got the MA, the General MA in Education, Learning Pedagogy, and Assessment, which might be of interest to some of you. It's not language assessment, but there is a strong component on assessment, and Brian leads on that front for this master's. We've got a master's in mathematics education, in second language education, which would be more of interest to people in this conference. We do have a master's in teaching English to speakers of other languages, which I'll be highlighting in a second, and a master's in education leadership and management. So I'll be talking about the MAT, because that's the master's where we have a component on language education, which is led by a colleague of mine together with Brian. So in this master's, what we have is really an up-to-date flexible curriculum, sorry about that. So basically, we give our students the opportunity to choose between 2 different routes, what we call the pedagogical route, where they don't take a dissertation and they can specialize in a larger number of modules and topics within CISO, and the research route, where they do take the dissertation. It's more of the usual kind of master's course that you've got in several parts of the world. Our aim here is really to give our students the ability to take charge of their learning and to make decisions that suit them the most. There are opportunities for work-based experience to observe English language teachers in practice, and you will be part of this vibrant community that Brian and I have been talking about around the area of language education. So one key feature of the masters here with us is that we also have, we offer a CELTA at the end of the course with a partner of ours. And you have a chance of doing that, and we offer a discount if you want to do that. You can basically see here the entry requirements, but I'm very happy to discuss that in the Q&A if you have any questions. We do offer scholarships for students, both university-wide scholarships for different constituencies of students, depending on your background and your nationality, but also our school-led scholarships. We've got excellence in education scholarships, which you could apply for as a student in our school, in the School of Education and Lifelong Learning. So as Brian was saying, we've gotten lots of PhD opportunities as well. We would encourage and welcome you to contact us if you've got any questions. We've got the usual PhD based in the UK, if that suits you, but we've also got the opportunity for people to join us on a part-time basis at a distance, which would just require you to come here, let's say once a year for face-to-face meetings, but you would be having your supervisory meetings virtually by virtual means. I'm aware of time, so I'll stop here and I'll open the floor for questions, for any queries you might have, and we're very happy to discuss that. So I know we've gone quite fast at points. So if you've got any questions, very happy to share, to answer them. You see some key links in here about our schools. The first one, our school website. You've got our Twitter account, I mean the school's Twitter account and the school's Facebook account on this slide. While we wait, I'm not sure, Flora, if people can just join us by voice, if they can join through their microphones, or whether they should type in the chat box. But either way, we would be happy to engage in conversations with colleagues. I'll also leave our email addresses on this slide, so if you would like to contact us at any point, please do feel free to write to us, and we can direct you to the right person if it's not us. But we would be very happy to start the discussions. Flora, are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm here, and I just checked the chat box to see if there are any questions or comments. By the way,
thank you for that.
Thank you, and Brian, for the presentation. Thank you.
Not at all, my pleasure. So can people join by voice as well if they want, or do they have to type?
Okay, so we have one.
Join by voice too. Yeah.
Yes, they can through the chat box or the voice. Okay, so we have one question asked you. Since you've omitted exam or test for assessment, how's the response from the students?
Oh, that's a very good question. Thank you, Liana. So that was what I was reporting on. That was a UK-wide study. So that was for all the masters in the UK, and we surveyed more than 500 students doing masters in the UK. Obviously, I mean, we have been building up on those findings to make sure that our master's courses address students' needs and wants. I'm very glad to say that, UEA has always been at the forefront of pedagogical practice, and our masters in here do not entail, and actually they have not entailed, I shall say, be more correct, any exams or tests for master students. So all modules are assessed through other means, primarily written assignments, but not only written assignments. So it depends on the module. So some modules will entail presentations, other modules will entail projects, some modules will include portfolios, but we do use a variety of assessment types to help our students showcase what they have learned in the best way possible. And I think I speak on behalf of all my colleagues. We don't think that at master's level, having exams or tests is the best way to assess their knowledge in language education. And here we are not talking about people studying the language, but we are here talking about people studying about language or about education. So we believe that the assignments, for instance, the written assignments, give them more room for them to show their thought processes, independence of thought, criticality, so on and so forth.